My daughter-in-law inherited $55 million after my son passed away. The first thing she did was throw me out of the house we built together. She told me to go die in a dumpster. I picked up my coat, walked away, and made one phone call. 5 days later, she was begging me for $1. She should have listened when the will was read. She should have known my son saw her true character. Let me know where you're listening from in the comments below. If you believe wisdom and patience are powerful weapons, please like this video and subscribe. The day after we buried my son David, the silence in his house was deafening. Not a peaceful mourning, but a cold, brittle quiet that felt like it could shatter. I sat in the leather armchair we'd chosen together, staring at the empty space where he should have been. Every corner of the house held his presence. The floorboards we laid, the library we built, the hum of servers in the basement running his AI company. Then came the click-clack of heels upstairs, a sound that cut through the grief. My daughter-in-law, Chloe, descended the staircase not in mourning black, but in a sharp cream-colored suit, her makeup flawless, her composure icy. She passed me without a glance, her perfume trailing like a dismissal. On her phone, her voice was crisp, emotionless. Accelerate the timeline. Liquidate the assets by the quarter's end. The past is the past. I felt like an old relic she hadn't decided to keep or discard. The silence grew heavier, signaling a storm was brewing. The next day, we sat in the mahogany conference room of David's lawyer, Mr. Davies. The air smelled of leather and old paper. Mr. Davies, a friend for 20 years, gave me a pained look before reading David's will. Chloe sat across from me, her posture rigid, like a CEO at a takeover, not a grieving widow. The will was clear. David's $50 million AI company, investments, cars, art, bank accounts, and house all went to my beloved wife Chloe. My name appeared once. To my father, Robert Peterson, I leave my deepest gratitude for being my first and greatest teacher. It wasn't about money. I never cared for it. It was the erasure of my place in his life. Chloe's lips curved in a victorious smile. To her, I was a footnote in her new empire. A memory hit me. 20 years ago, in a greasy diner, David showed me his business plan, his eyes alight with passion and fear. I'd sold my home and pushed my life savings across the table. "It's a risk, Dad," he said. "It's not a risk," I replied. "It's an investment in you." Now, watching Chloe, I saw no trace of my son in her triumphant gaze. Back at the house, Chloe's mask fell. She inspected the rooms like a landlord, her eyes cold. Pointing at a wall of family photos, David as a boy with his mother, our fishing trips, she said, "This has to go. It's clutter." She eyed David's prize first edition sci-fi novels. "These can be sold." On speakerphone, she boasted, "$55 million, not including the property. I'm the sole owner now." Her eyes met mine, daring me to challenge her. I was no longer a guest in my son's home. I was a ghost she wanted gone. I found refuge in the library, a cathedral of our shared history. David and I built its oak shelves, our laughter echoing as we worked. Each book held a story, an Asimov for his 20th birthday, his college textbooks with scribbled notes. I spent hours there, touching the spines, feeling David's soul. It was the only place Chloe hadn't tainted. Then, the library door slammed open. Chloe stood there, flanked by 2 burly men in workout gear, looking like hired muscle. She surveyed the room with disdain. "This is dead weight, dark wood, old paper, depressing." Turning to me, she snapped, "Robert, get this junk out by tomorrow. The gym equipment arrives Friday." I steadied my hands, placing a book back. "Chloe, this isn't junk. This is David's sanctuary, the heart of this house." I looked at the men, hoping for a shred of empathy. "Take any other room, just not this one." She laughed, cold and sharp. "Memory? You can't liquidate memories, Robert." Her voice rose, venomous. "I'm tired of you moping like a ghost, reminding me of a past I want gone. This is my house, my life. You're not part of it." Then the words that burned into me. "Get out. Go die in a dumpster." She nodded to the men. They grabbed my arms, their grips iron tight, and escorted me out. I didn't fight.
Shock hollowed me. The library door shut with a final thud, the lock clicking. The front door slammed, the deadbolt sealing me out. My suitcase sat on the lawn, Chloe's final act of charity. Rain began to fall, cold and steady, mixing with tears I didn't know were there.
I looked at the house, our house. The library's bay window, where David loved to read. The stone facade we set together. Every brick was a memory. Now, a broken promise. A memory surfaced. 25 years ago, David, a lanky teen, helped me fix a fence post. A man's character isn't what he owns, I'd said. It's what he protects. His name, honor, family. He'd smiled, promising, "One day I'll build us a great house, Dad. Our house." Chloe had desecrated that promise. In the rain, grief hardened into resolve. I grabbed my suitcase and walked down the driveway, each step a vow. She'd made her move, now it was mine. At the curb, a taxi stopped. "Where to?" the driver asked. I needed solitude. "Starlight Motel," I said, a faded place on the highway for those who wanted to vanish. The motel was grim, its neon sign flickering, "Starlie." My room was small, stale, with a lumpy bed and a weak lamp. It was the opposite of David's home, but it felt right, a bunker for strategy. Sitting on the bed, I thought of Chloe's greed, so blatant it was almost naive. David's will, too simple for his meticulous mind, didn't add up. He planned for every business contingency. Could he have been so blind personally? A spark of hope flickered. What if he wasn't blind? What if he was strategic? I pulled out my phone and called Mr. Davies. The ringing felt endless. "Robert," he answered, weary but concerned. "I was about to call you." My heart quickened. I reported calmly, "Chloe evicted me. I'm at the Starlight Motel." His sigh carried a heavy secret. "I'm sorry, Robert, but I'm not surprised." My hypothesis grew certain. David had known. David was brilliant, Davies said. He saw patterns in markets, tech, and people. He knew his wife, loved her, but wasn't fooled. He planned for this. His tone turned sharp. "By evicting you, Chloe triggered a condition. David left a sealed codicil I can now reveal. The will we read was incomplete, a first move in a chess game he might not finish." Grief and pride surged. David hadn't abandoned me. He'd armed me. "There's a contingency clause," Davies explained, "a character test. David hoped Chloe would choose decency, but planned for greed. She failed. The plan was elegant. The will gave Chloe everything, but with a catch: fiduciary duty to protect the family's welfare and legacy, including me. Her eviction violated that duty, triggering the codicil. David would freeze the assets with bureaucratic delays, making Chloe a queen with an empty treasury. My role? Disappear, letting her overconfidence lead to her downfall. I powered off my phone, embracing silence. The motel room became my command center, not a place of defeat. This wasn't revenge, it was justice. David's justice.
For 3 days, I was a ghost. My phone stayed off, the TV silent. Meanwhile, Chloe, Davies later told me, was a whirlwind of greed. She stormed boutiques, buying luxury goods to shed her old self. At a supercar dealership, she pointed at a red sports car, dropping a non-refundable deposit. "The money's there," she laughed. She hired a minimalist designer to gut the house, targeting the library. "It's a morgue," she sneered. "I want it gone. White walls, chrome, a juice bar." She was erasing David. Her crowning act was a lavish party, filled with new friends drawn to her wealth. When asked about me, she sighed. "Poor Robert couldn't handle the grief. He's in a nursing home up north. It's for the best." Her lie fueled my resolve. She was dancing on a stage David built, unaware the curtain was falling. The next day, her empire cracked. At a chic cafe, her estate-linked credit card was declined. She laughed it off, but a second card failed too. Embarrassed, she paid with cash and called the bank. The response was calm. "A procedural hold by the executor, Mr. Davies, for probate valuation." At home, the designer called. His crew was blocked by a legal injunction. Then the car salesman demanded payment or he'd sell her car, keeping her deposit. Panic set in. Chloe called Davies, screaming, "This is my money. You work for me." He remained unruffled. "Standard procedure, Mrs. Peterson." She was trapped in a cage of her own making, built by David's design. By day 5, her world crumbled. Invoices piled up, her new friends vanished, and her search for me led nowhere. My friends turned her away, echoing the door she'd slammed on me. Desperate, she went to Davies' office, feigning humility. He called me that morning. "It's time, Robert." I wore my navy suit, sitting in his waiting room with a book on Roman history. When Chloe entered, disheveled and afraid, she froze upon seeing me. Confusion turned to shock, then horror. She realized this was no mistake, it was a plan, and I was its heart. "Robert," she whispered, then stammered, "Father, I was so worried." Her lie was pitiful. I said nothing, my silence a mirror reflecting her cruelty. She crumbled, mumbling excuses. "Things got out of hand. I wasn't thinking." Davies appeared, calm and authoritative. "Chloe, Robert, please join me." In the conference room, we sat across a mahogany table, the air heavy. Davies spoke. "Chloe, you can't access the estate because you breached your fiduciary duty." He slid over the will, pointing to the clause requiring her to protect the family's welfare. Then an affidavit detailing her eviction and her words, "Go die in a dumpster." Chloe flinched, speechless. Davies continued. "The will was a test. David asked if you were worthy of his legacy. Your actions answered. He asked if she'd read Section 4, Subclause C, the codicil trigger. She hadn't. From his briefcase, he produced a sealed envelope with David's signet ring seal. This codicil voids the first will. It's David's true will." He read, "All assets went to the Peterson Legacy Trust, with me as trustee to fund the David Peterson Tech Scholars Foundation for underprivileged kids. Chloe would get $2,000 monthly, contingent on full-time work, and could live rent-free in the guest cottage. It wasn't poverty, it was responsibility, the life she'd avoided." Chloe's face drained of color. She shook her head, denying reality. As Davies folded the codicil, she gasped and fainted, collapsing on the carpet. The queen was gone, replaced by a woman who'd destroyed her own future. David's will was done. 6 months later, I stood at a podium, facing the first graduates of David's foundation. In my navy suit, I felt like a guardian of his dream. "I'm Robert Peterson, my son's father," I began, sharing stories of David's curiosity and belief that technology should be for all. "His legacy isn't wealth, it's this," I said, gesturing to the students and their new computers. "He built doors for those shown walls." Chloe, I learned, works at a coffee shop, her apron plain, her face tired. When a customer snapped at her, she apologized, the old fire gone. She's serving a sentence of consequence, not poverty. The library is now my office, buzzing with ideas. At David's desk, I see his photo, grinning, Sunlit. Justice isn't loud. I've learned it's the quiet click of a plan falling into place. David left a legacy of purpose, and my honor is to grow it daily. This story shows justice is strategic, not vengeful. Strength lies in patience, not rage. David's victory was protecting his legacy, not punishing Chloe. Our true inheritance is the impact we create. If you found strength in wisdom, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Your stories matter. Thank you for joining me.